Now, you were obviously there long enough to be through a few strikes. What could you tell us? Which was the first one, and what your activity during the strikes was?
The first one that I was in was in the mid-'80s, and that was my first introduction to being on the picket line at all hours of the night and making sandwiches at the Union Hall to be delivered to the members out on the strike line. But I was fortunate that we could make ends meet, and it wasn't it was a long one, but we made it through, and that we realized that it was for a good cause, and that even though you never totally make up for what your losses are during all those weeks of being on picket duty and on strike, that it was for the good of the future. And unfortunately, some of that was undone by the recent takeaways that Boeing won. But at the time that we went out on strike, we knew that it was for better benefits, and that with the profits that Boeing was making, we felt justified in standing up for ourselves, that Boeing was making a lot of money on our backs, and that those in the corporation of Boeing were certainly benefiting by what we were sacrificing.
I understand at one point you won an award as Worker of the Year, and this was a national award. Can you talk a little bit about that?
The Worker of the Year award was an award that was issued by the Dickey's Workwear Company, that since they are known for making good workwear for American workers, they made this recognition for that anybody could apply, even somebody that wanted to nominate themselves. Unbeknownst to me, my mother and my grandmother went into a writing campaign, writing letters to Dickey's to submit my name. And one evening I got a call saying that one of their letters, one of my mother's letters, had been chosen for me to win the recognition. There was also a gentleman, a carpenter, in another state that we simultaneously won. But I was the first woman ever recognized for the award. And we were given a trip to Nashville to the Grand Ole Opry, and we were given our awards on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry. And then I also was flown by ABC to New York to be on Good Morning America with Charlie Gibson, and was interviewed by him in a segment. And yeah, it was a real nice tribute, and it was a coup for Boeing that somebody that worked for Boeing was being recognized nationally. So it was a real good time in our lives to have some fun with being recognized.
That must have been quite the experience.
Yes.
Now, there's also a picture of you on the picket line in '95 holding your award.
Yeah. One week I was in New York with Charlie Gibson. The very next week I was on the picket line with my award on a big board, a big white board on a stick, saying I'm on, the Worker of the Year is on picket duty.
That's funny. That's good. So, when did you retire, Glenda?
I got my first pension check February 1st of 2013. So I'm a newbie. This is August of 2014.
Okay. So you're recently retired?
Recently retired.
And what have you been up to since?
Well, just supporting my father and getting him through first time of being a bachelor, because he was married fresh out of high school, and he never was a bachelor before. So every day I go over and spend several hours a day with him, and we have dinner together and watch his favorite shows. He likes 2.5 Men. And we play a lot of cards and dominoes, and then I go back to my house, and the next day at lunchtime we start all over again. So we're a good support unit for each other, and but we've recently gotten involved with the Alliance for Retired Americans, and started feeling a passion for trying to get people organized to help each other again. And Jackie Voschak, who is the president of the 751 retirees, she is communicating with a lot of retirees that from 751 in Arizona, and we are trying to be a big help to her to organize the 751 retirees down in our area.
That's great.
And Ron McGahey, he puts in his 2 cents too.
Oh, always. Always. No, that's a great activity. That's really needed.
Yeah.
Now, as you know, earlier this year in January, members of 751 voted by a very slim majority of 51% to accept a contract extension that's going to eliminate the defined benefits pension plan. Have you been following this, and do you have any feelings on it?
It's a real low point in our efforts throughout the decades to try to make better compensation for what working people go through their working years. And the first vote that went through, it didn't win. But for some unknown reason, hopefully further on down the line we'll find out what the reason was, but the president of our international manipulated that a vote would be taken after people would be gone for the holiday, for Christmas holiday, that they would take another vote. And people that didn't have very much seniority, they had to come back to work, and so a significant amount of senior 751 members were not able to vote at that time. They were still, they had taken 2 days of vacation in order to not come back to work until the following Monday. They extended their Christmas holiday. And so, unfortunately, the rules of how to vote online was not issued until people had already left for Christmas vacation. So they were unable to vote.
Yeah, it's another example of how the labor movement and the middle class has been attacked over the last few decades. And your activity in the Alliance for Retired Americans, I think, is a good example of how we can stand up for ourselves and maybe turn this around. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us right now?
Nope. Just real glad that people like you are taking an interest in making a data history bank for the future, because unions need to have as much visual as possible. And so thank you very much for all the work that you're doing.
Well, thank you, Linda. Really appreciate talking with you, and thank you for all the union support you've given through the years.
Yep. Thank you too, Jerry.